Welcome to our deep dive into a more fulfilling life. And this time,
Oh,
we're not talking about your career.
okay.
We're tackling the world of sexual wellness, using excerpts from Sexual Wellness Unlocked, Secrets to Confidence and Satisfaction.
Okay.
This book is seriously eye-opening.
Yeah,
It doesn't hold back.
it does not.
Luckily, we have our expert here,
Yeah.
who I suspect has already devoured every single chapter. Am I right?
You know me too well, and one of the things that I found most fascinating was how it defines sexual wellness.
Okay.
It goes way beyond just the physical stuff.
So it's not just about what happens in the bedroom.
Exactly. The book actually starts with the World Health Organization's definition, and it's surprisingly broad.
Oh, wow.
They define sexual health as a state of physical, emotional, mental, and social well-being in relation to sexuality.
Okay, so it's about the whole package, mind, body, the works.
Yes.
But the book dives even deeper, right?
It does. For example, it debunks the myth that sexual health is only for young people
Right.
or those in relationships. It's really a lifelong journey that evolves with us.
That makes sense. We change so much throughout our lives. It stands to reason our relationship with sexuality would too.
Right.
But let's be honest, body image can really get in the way of feeling good about ourselves sexually. How does the book address this?
Well, it emphasizes body positivity and celebrating what makes you unique.
Okay.
It even has real-life stories of people who transform their confidence by learning to love their bodies, no matter their shape or size.
You know, that's something I've struggled with too. It's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah.
Especially with all the images we're bombarded with every day.
Absolutely. And the book reminds us that confidence is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
It's about challenging those unrealistic beauty standards
Yeah.
and recognizing that our worthiness isn't tied to our appearance.
And that confidence translates to how we communicate with our partners too, right?
Yeah.
Because talking about sex can be awkward.
Yes.
Does the book give any tips for overcoming that?
It absolutely does. One of those practical things it suggests is using I statements when expressing your needs and desires.
Okay.
For example, instead of saying you never initiate, you could say, I would love it if you initiated sometimes.
So it's about taking ownership of your feelings and expressing them in a way that doesn't put your partner on the defensive.
Exactly. It's about creating a safe space for open and honest dialogue, which is essential for a healthy sexual relationship.
And what about performance anxiety? I feel like that's something a lot of people struggle with, but it's not often talked about.
You're right. It is incredibly common, and the book tackles it head on.
Okay.
What I found interesting is that it suggests practicing mindfulness as a way to cope.
Mindfulness for performance anxiety. How does that work?
Well, instead of getting caught up in anxious thoughts,
Yeah.
mindfulness encourages you to focus on the sensations in your body.
Okay.
It's about being present in the moment, which can help to reduce stress and improve pleasure.
That's fascinating. I never would have thought of that. Now, for those of us who like to know the nitty-gritty details, the book also gets into the science of pleasure, right?
It does. And it's not just a dry anatomy lesson.
Okay.
It actually debunks a lot of myths about pleasure and explains how different parts of our bodies respond to stimulation.
So it's like a map to your own body's potential, but it goes beyond the physical too, right? It connects things like hormones and mental health to our sexual experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing that really stood out to me was how the book explained the impact of even slight hormonal imbalances
Okay.
on things like libido, for example. You might not realize that even a little bit too much or too little testosterone or estrogen
Right.
can lead to feeling least desire.
So if you're experiencing low libido, it might not be all in your head. There could be a physical component too that's really important information to have.
The book stresses the importance of a holistic approach to sexual wellness. It acknowledges that factors like anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
even medications can all play a role in our desire and ability to connect intimately.
This is making me realize just how much we tend to compartmentalize things. We think of sexual health as separate from our mental and physical health, but it's all interconnected.
Precisely. And that interconnectedness really shines through when the book explores the concept of intimacy, which is about so much more than just the physical act of sex.
Okay, so let's talk about intimacy. What are some of the key takeaways from the book in that area?
Well, it goes beyond just the bedroom and explores the emotional connection, trust, and vulnerability that are so crucial for a truly intimate relationship.
Yeah.
It even emphasizes the power of simple things like holding hands or cuddling.
Those small gestures can be so powerful. But what about for those of us in long-term relationships?
Huh.
How do we keep things exciting and rekindle that spark?
The book has some great advice for that.
Okay.
It encourages couples to have regular date nights, try new things together,
Mm-hmm.
and even surprise each other with small gestures of affection.
That makes me think of a couple I know who started taking dance classes together after years of marriage. They said it completely revitalized their relationship.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
It's about remembering that relationships require effort and intentionality, especially when it comes to intimacy.
Right.
We have to actively cultivate it even after the initial honeymoon phase fades.
Okay, I'm ready for the juicy stuff. What does the book have to say about pushing boundaries and exploring new things in the bedroom?
Get ready for some adventure.
Okay.
Well, this book is all about exploration.
Okay.
It talks about discussing fantasies, introducing sex toys.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. What kind of guidance does it offer for those who might be new to sex toys?
By the way, it's very beginner friendly. It
Eh.
walks you through everything from choosing the right toys to using them safely and effectively.
Okay.
It even stresses the importance of communication and consent, so everyone feels comfortable and empowered.
That's so important, but let's be honest, sometimes life throws us curveballs and things like low libido or sexual dysfunction become a reality. Does the book sugarcoat these challenges?
Not at all. It
Right.
acknowledges that these are real issues that many people face,
Yeah.
but it also provides practical advice and solutions,
Oh.
ranging from dietary changes to therapy.
Oh, wow.
It's a reminder that you're not alone and help is out there.
That's reassuring to hear because sometimes it can feel like you're the only one struggling with these things. But the book also acknowledges that our sexual needs and experiences change throughout our lives, right? Like how pregnancy or aging can impact things.
You're absolutely right, and it provides valuable insights for navigating those transitions with grace and self-compassion.
So it's really about embracing all stages of life and recognizing that our relationship with sexuality will naturally evolve over time.
Exactly, and sometimes during those transitions or when facing certain challenges, we might need a little extra support.
Yeah.
That's where professional guidance can come in.
Speaking of support, I'm curious to hear what the book has to say about seeking professional help for sexual wellness.
Well, it emphasizes that there's absolutely no shame in seeking help when you need it.
So it's not about admitting defeat. It's about recognizing that sometimes we need the guidance of an expert to navigate these complex issues.
Exactly, and the book doesn't just say, go see a therapist.
Right.
It actually provides specific guidance on choosing the right type of professional for your needs,
Okay.
whether it's a therapist, doctor, or counselor.
That's really helpful because I think a lot of people might not even know where to start when it comes to finding a professional who specializes in sexual health.
You're right, and the book helps to demystify the process.
Okay.
It even includes inspiring stories from people who have transformed their sexual wellness through therapy.
It's so encouraging to hear those success stories because it reminds us that positive change is possible even when things feel really challenging. But before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned because in the next part, we'll delve even deeper into the transformative power of therapy and explore some of the other valuable insights this book has to offer.
And you know those stories of transformation through therapy, they're so powerful.
Yeah.
They highlight how therapy can address not just sexual concerns, but also the emotional and relationship issues that often tie into them.
Yeah, it's like untangling a knot, right? Sometimes you need help figuring out where to even begin. But speaking of starting Sexual Wellness Unlocked, doesn't just leave you with a bunch of information and say good luck.
Right?
It emphasizes cultivating a lifelong approach to wellness, doesn't it?
It does. It reminds us that sexual wellness is an ongoing process, not a destination we reach and then we're done.
Right.
It's about continuously learning, adapting, and prioritizing self-care.
That makes a lot of sense. Our bodies and minds are constantly evolving, and so are our needs and desires.
Right. So it's not about finding a quick fix. It's
Yeah.
about creating healthy habits that support us throughout our lives.
Yeah.
What kind of self-care tips does the book recommend?
Well, one of the things that stuck with me was the idea of creating daily rituals for relaxation and reflection.
Okay.
It could be something as simple as taking a few minutes each day to meditate, journal, or just disconnect from technology and tune into your body.
That's so true. We're so busy and bombarded with stimulation all the time that we rarely take a moment to just be still and listen to ourselves. And it's not just about what we do, it's also about what we consume, right?
Yes.
The media we take in or the conversations we engage in.
Yes, the book actually recommends seeking out sex-positive resources like books, podcasts, or workshops that can help us challenge harmful societal norms and cultivate a more open and accepting attitude towards sexuality. So it's about actively creating a supportive environment for ourselves where we can learn, grow, and connect with others who share similar values. That makes me think of the importance of having open and honest conversations with our partners. It's about normalizing those discussions and making it okay to talk about our needs and desires without shame or judgment.
Exactly. Communication is key. And the book offers some great strategies for improving communication in relationships, not just about sex, but about everything.
All right.
It encourages us to practice active listening, express ourselves clearly and respectfully, and be willing to compromise.
Those are skills that can benefit us in all areas of our lives, not just our romantic relationships. But let's circle back to a point you made earlier about professional help. When does the book suggest calling in the experts?
It offers some really helpful guidelines for recognizing when professional support might be beneficial. For example, if you're experiencing persistent issues like low libido pain during intercourse or difficulty achieving orgasm,
Right.
it might be time to reach out to a specialist.
So it's not about feeling like you failed if you need help. It's about understanding that some challenges require a different level of support. And the book emphasizes that it's not just about seeing an ANOI therapist, it's about finding one who specializes in sexual health.
Right, and it goes even further by providing tips for finding a qualified professional who aligns with your values and needs. It encourages you to ask questions about their experience, their approach to therapy, and what to expect during sessions.
That's so important because feeling comfortable and safe with your therapist is crucial. You need to be able to open up and be vulnerable without feeling judged. But those success stories you mentioned earlier, did any of them particularly stand out to you?
One that really resonated with me was about a woman who had been struggling with low libido for years.
Okay.
She had tried everything she could think of, and nothing seemed to work. Finally, she decided to seek therapy. And through that process, she uncovered some deep-seated emotional issues that had been holding her back. By addressing those underlying issues, her libido naturally returned, and she was able to experience a level of intimacy and pleasure she had never known before.
Wow, that's incredible. It's a reminder that our sexual health is so often intertwined with our emotional well-being, and it's a testament to the transformative power of therapy in helping us uncover and address those deeper issues.
It's a reminder that there's hope, even when things feel really challenging.
Absolutely. And speaking of hope, one of the things I appreciated about the book is that it doesn't shy away from discussing the role of sexual pleasure in a fulfilling life. In fact, it has a whole chapter dedicated to exploring different ways to enhance pleasure, right?
It does, and it approaches this topic with a sense of curiosity and playfulness,
Huh.
encouraging us to embrace our sensuality and explore what brings us joy. It talks about everything from experimenting with different positions and techniques to incorporating sensual touch and massage into our intimate lives.
And it doesn't just focus on the physical, does it? It also emphasizes the importance of mental and emotional stimulation.
Absolutely, it encourages us to tap into our fantasies, to explore erotic literature and art, and to create a romantic and sensual atmosphere that enhances our experiences.
That makes me think of the power of music and lighting in setting the mood. Even something as simple as dimming the lights and putting on some soft music can completely transform the atmosphere.
Exactly. It's about paying attention to the details
Mhm.
and creating an environment that feels inviting and sensual. And speaking of details, the book also delves into the world of sensory play, which can be an amazing way to enhance pleasure and connection.
Okay, sensory play. I'm intrigued. What exactly does that involve?
It's about engaging all of our senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound, to create a more immersive and pleasurable experience. It could involve things like using massage oils and scented candles, blindfolding each other, or even incorporating feathers or silk scarves into your lovemaking.
Wow, that sounds incredibly sensual. It's about being present in the moment and really savoring the experience with your partner.
Precisely. And it's a wonderful way to break out of routine and inject some excitement and novelty into your intimate life.
But it's not just about trying new things, it's also about taking care of ourselves on a daily basis. The book has some fantastic self-care rituals that can help us feel more grounded and connected to our bodies, doesn't it?
It reminds us that self-care is essential for overall well-being, and that includes our sexual well-being.
Mm.
It encourages us to nourish our bodies with healthy foods, move our bodies in ways that feel good, and prioritize getting enough sleep.
And it emphasizes that self-care isn't selfish. It's actually an act of self-love that allows us to show up more fully for ourselves and our partners.
Exactly. When we take care of ourselves, we have more energy, more vitality, and more to give to others.
You know, all this talk about self-care and exploration is making me realize how much we tend to focus on the doing aspect of sexual wellness. But there's also a lot to be said for the being aspect, isn't there?
You're absolutely right. It's about cultivating a mindset of self-acceptance, body positivity, and a willingness to embrace our sexuality without shame or judgment.
It's about recognizing that our bodies are worthy of love and pleasure regardless of our age, size, or relationship status.
And it's about celebrating the unique and beautiful ways in which we experience pleasure.
So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that really stood out to me in the book, the importance of community and connection.
That's a great point. The book emphasizes that we don't have to navigate this journey alone.
It encourages us to seek out supportive communities, whether online or in person, where we can share experiences, learn from others, and challenge harmful societal norms.
Those connections can be so valuable, especially when we're facing challenges or feeling isolated.
They remind us that we're not alone and that there are people out there who understand what we're going through, and that's a powerful thing.
It is. And it's a reminder that we can all play a role in creating a more sex-positive and accepting world.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with this question to ponder: how can you cultivate a sense of community and connection in your own life when it comes to sexual wellness?
It's a question worth exploring, and remember, there are countless resources available, from online forums and support groups to workshops and events in your local community.
And sometimes the most powerful connections are the ones we build with the people closest to us. Don't be afraid to have those open and honest conversations with your partner, your friends, or even your family members.
Sharing our experiences and perspectives can be incredibly liberating and empowering, both for ourselves and for others.
So stay tuned as we delve into the final part of our deep dive into Sexual Wellness Unlocked, where we'll explore even more valuable insights and practical tips for enhancing your sexual well-being. And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into Sexual Wellness Unlocked. You know, one of the things that really struck me about this book is that it doesn't shy away from topics that can still feel a bit taboo, for some people. Like, it actually has a whole section on sex toys.
I know, right? It's so refreshing, and it approaches the topic in such a matter-of-fact, informative way. It's not about pushing anyone to do anything they're not comfortable with, but rather about providing information and empowering people to make their own choices.
Exactly. And it even includes a beginner's guide to introducing toys, which I thought was super helpful. Let's be honest, sometimes those things can be a little intimidating if you've never used them before.
Absolutely. The book takes all the mystery out of it
Yeah.
and provides really practical tips on everything from choosing the right toy to using it safely and effectively.
And it really emphasizes the importance of communication, right? Like talking to your partner about what you're both comfortable with.
That's so crucial. It encourages couples to have those open and honest conversations about their desires and boundaries, which can make a huge difference in creating a more comfortable and enjoyable experience for everyone.
I love how it takes the awkwardness out of the equation and encourages us to approach these topics with a sense of curiosity and playfulness. But it's not just about toys, right? The book also talks about the power of sensory play.
Yes, and that's such a fantastic way to enhance intimacy and deepen connection with your partner.
Yeah.
It's about engaging all of our senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound, to create a more immersive and pleasurable experience.
I'm trying to imagine what that would look like in practice. What are some specific examples of sensory play that the book suggests?
Well, it could involve things like using massage oils and scented candles, playing soft music, or even blindfolding each other. The book also talks about incorporating different textures like feathers or silk scarves into your lovemaking.
Wow, those are some really creative ideas. It's about being present in the moment and really tuning into your senses and the sensations you're experiencing.
Exactly. And it can be a really fun and playful way to explore different aspects of your sensuality and discover what brings you pleasure.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Sexual Wellness Unlocked, I want to encourage you to keep exploring and experimenting. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge your own assumptions, and step outside of your comfort zone.
Remember, sexual wellness is a lifelong journey, and there's always something new to learn and experience.
And if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out for professional support. There are so many amazing therapists and counselors out there who can help you navigate the complexities of intimacy and relationships.
We've only scratched the surface of what this book has to offer, so I highly recommend checking it out for yourself. It's truly a treasure trove of information and inspiration.
So true. And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder. What does sexual wellness truly mean to you?
Take some time to reflect on that question.
Hmm.
What are your values, your desires, your boundaries? What steps can you take to create a more joyful and fulfilling sexual experience for yourself and your partner?
And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. It's your journey, and you get to define it on your own terms.
Embrace the exploration, stay curious, and most importantly, have fun.
Until next time, stay well.